Sugars contain carbon. There's the carbon right there. And that carbon comes from the air. It comes from carbon dioxide in the air. Or if the plant or seaweed or algae is living in the water, the carbon comes from the carbon dioxide that's dissolved in water. But it's still coming from carbon dioxide. And that can happen in the light or in the dark once the batteries are charged up. The batteries of photosynthesis then get discharged in the process of turning the carbon dioxide into sugars. And then the batteries need to be recharged again by light energy. Okay, so now what are the batteries? Well, the batteries are NADP and ADP, two low energy molecules. These are the batteries in their discharged form. And one of the amazing things about chlorophyll is that it's able to use light energy to charge those batteries up. So here's the light energy, we're charging the batteries, and what you end up with NADPH and ATP. These are now high energy molecules, and chlorophyll is then able to use those batteries, those charged batteries, to make sugar. Okay, so let's put all this together. Here we have our discharged batteries, NADP and ADP. Let's charge them up in the light. So we're charging up the batteries. Along the way, oxygen gets produced. The oxygen actually comes from water. So the oxygen is produced in the process of charging up the batteries. And these are called the light reactions because the charging up of the batteries can only take place with light. When the batteries are charged, what do we have? Now we have NADPH and ATP, and these are again high energy molecules. They're high energy molecules. They're charged up, and now they can do some work for us, or they can do some work for the plants. Specifically, they allow chemical reactions to take carbon dioxide from the air to form sugars. So the carbon in these sugars is actually coming from the carbon in carbon dioxide. And the batteries, the NADPH and the ATP, supply the power to run these reactions. So while the carbon from carbon dioxide is being incorporated into sugars, the batteries are discharging. And we end up then with NADP and ADP. Now these reactions don't require light. They can take place in the light or they can take place in the dark. So they're often called light-independent reactions. The light-independent reactions. Some people call them the dark reactions because they can take place in the dark. And this is also known as the Calvin cycle because the sequence of events that take place in these reactions was actually worked out many years ago by Melvin Calvin, who in fact won the Nobel Prize for that work. So not only do plants and algae and seaweeds and anything else that contains chlorophyll take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere for us and produce foods for us and for other animals, they also provide us with pretty much all the oxygen that we breathe. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of water in the presence of light gives us 1 molecule of glucose, which is a kind of sugar, and 6 molecules of oxygen. How do they do that? The algae and the plants and the seaweeds, all which have chlorophyll, produce the oxygen when they use light energy to charge their batteries. And they produce food by using those batteries to do something that almost nobody else can do. They make sugars from carbon dioxide. So anytime you see a plant, you should be sure to say, "Thank you very much." And that's it. That's photosynthesis, the big picture.